So if the San Antonio Spurs can genuinely make this move happen, I literally might explode all over my screen with garlic aioli sauce. And that is like the light of it. Because if the San Antonio Spurs being interested in Lauri Markkanen is really as big as a thing as what a lot of these reports are saying, and that they could potentially trade for him, that would be a really good addition to this Spurs team. Again, it is being said that the Warriors and Spurs are amongst the teams pursuing a trade for Lauri Markkanen, being reported by Brian Winehurst and Jake Fisher. I think there's been a couple other reports here and there that have been saying that they are legitimately the two main teams as well. I made a separate video talking about the Golden State Warriors being interested in Lauri Markkanen. So again, if you want to help me pay some bills, go and watch the ads on that fucking video and tell me you like it in the comment. You obviously don't have to do it. Skip the ad if you really want to. You can skip it quicker than one you'd skip on Pornhub. I really couldn't care. I'm here to have fun with you guys. So we're here today to talk about my thoughts and opinions on this. Do I think it's going to happen? I'm not exactly too sure. I feel like if there's any team who's going to trade for Markkanen right now, it's definitely going to be the Golden State Warriors. I think that's very obvious. The rumored trade package online that would consist of Markkanen and Clarkson going to the Warriors for Andrew Wiggins, Moses Moody, and 4 first-round picks, 2 of them unprotected and 2 swaps. That's a pretty good trade for genuinely both parties. That would actually, I could actually see that possibly happening. The reality is with the Spurs though, they definitely have a trade sitting right there that they could do like that. But the thing is, you really don't want to, I think, trade for a star too early. And what I mean by that is the San Antonio Spurs really might be a draft or 2 away before they truly start to make some moves in the Western Conference. Don't get me right. What the fuck? Don't get me wrong. That could be the worst call ever, and the Spurs could literally jump in the playoffs next season. You might be asking why, and that's because they've obviously got Victor Wembanyama, an already top 15 player, who will be a top 10 player come next season, right? The thing is, though, you went from that already, which is awesome, to adding Chris Paul, one of the best playmakers ever seen, who's a massive upgrade over Trey Jones as Wemby's playmaker, as well as Stephon Castle is there. But again, those 2 additions in Wemby's progress, is that enough to take them from being a bottom 5, bottom 3 team to being a playoff contender already? I don't think so. You never know, though, in today's NBA. I think they need 1 or 2 more drafts, and then they could go for a player like Markkanen. But if they truly think, hold on a second, we can do this, we can contend in a year or 2, let's go get Markkanen right now, then, I mean, go ahead, right? Because if you were to get Markkanen, you would obviously have to part ways with your first-round pick next year. In fact, you would have to probably part ways with at least 3 first-round picks minimum. Again, the Warriors would be about 4 or 5 just because they're supposed to be good very shortly if they were to add Markkanen. The Spurs are still no guarantee to be a very great team with Markkanen, although it's very obvious they would improve and be pretty good. Because in reality, if they were to come out next season with a starting lineup that looks like maybe Chris Paul at the 1, Vassell at the 2, Stephon Castle at the 3, Markkanen at the 4, and obviously Wemby at the 5, that is a really good starting 5, and then you would have bench players like Zach Collins and whatnot. So what would a trade actually look like for Markkanen that could get done? We got to remember, in today's NBA, you obviously have to match up contracts. This isn't 2K. And Markkanen's on about $18 million, I believe, right now. Maybe $17 million. I think it's like $17 to $18 million on that contract that the Cavs signed him for, which was said to be bad at the time, and it's become one of the best contracts in the whole entire NBA. So in reality, we know Keldon Johnson's on about $20 million. So that would probably do it. You could probably almost get a straight swap right there going. They might have to add in another like $2 million contract just to match it up, $2 to $3 million contract. But if you were the Spurs and you could get away with trading Keldon Johnson and maybe 2 unprotected first round picks and 1 or 2 pick swaps later on, that would be really good, because not only do you not get rid of all your future picks and future assets straight away, but you're only losing one player who is crucial to that team. Again, if the Spurs could somehow trade for Markkanen but keep next year's pick, that is the situation they should do. If they can say to them, look, we'll give you Keldon Johnson, we'll give you our 2026 first unprotected, at 2027 first on a pick swap maybe, 28 first unprotected, and then like a 29 or a 2030 on a pick swap, right? If they could keep their first round pick next year, just so if maybe Markkanen can't automatically make them a playoff team and they do get like a pick 8 or a pick 10, right? You get to keep that pick and you can continue on with this rebuild that is obviously going on right now. The unfortunate reality for the Utah Jazz, I think, is really the fact that because Markkanen is only on 17 to 18 million, you can't really bring in these players to match up contracts. Because if I was normally the Jazz, I would be saying, look, I want the 2 to 4 first round picks, obviously, but not only do I want Keldon Johnson back, I want Zach Collins back, I maybe want to trade Jones back, all of these type of things, right? But because his contract is so friendly and so easy negotiable, I really do think that a team like the Spurs are going to only offer a guy like Keldon Johnson because they're just going to want to match up contracts. And if you only do get offered like 2 players that are worth 8 to 10 mil each for Lauri Markkanen, they might not be as good, and they're most likely not going to be as good as a guy like Keldon Johnson who's on 20 million. So that's the unfortunate thing right now for the Jazz. That's what I think is really stopping them from trading Markkanen right now as we speak. It's just the major fact that they do not want to trade a guy who they might only bring one player back in return. They're possibly going to go to a team like the Warriors and being like, we want Wiggins, we want Moody, we're going to try and get Kuminga, all these type of things, because they can attach a guy like Jordan Clarkson to a team like the Warriors. I don't know, and I don't think they would be able to do that to the Spurs. The Spurs probably aren't going to want Jordan Clarkson. They're probably only going to want a guy like Markkanen, right? That's just the complete reality of things. It is the complete truth, and it just makes a ton of sense. But I'd very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on this down below. Do you guys think the Spurs or the Warriors should trade for Lauri Markkanen? I'd very much like to know. Subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRL/Loan channels, which will be getting linked in the description down below. But as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.